Welcome to another episode of Placed in Shelter with your host, Ryan Catarozoli. If you are catching this on YouTube, you can always join us live by using the link in the description. It's 3 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Obviously, being NRA weekend here, we actually had a special treat. So a big shout out to Lou Annick. So everyone's been trying to support their local restaurants during this whole time. Well, Louis took it a step further, and he said, why don't we support one of our favorite restaurants down in Chicago? So Louis took an order for myself, Joe, Debbie, and then himself and Carla, and he drove all the way down to Chicago and picked up Volare for us and brought it back. And I'm telling you what, even after that meal traveled 100 miles back to my house, it was still the best thing I've eaten in 2 months. So thank you, Lou. That was really great, and a great thing you did for the restaurant itself. One other housekeeping note I need to tell you about is Wednesday is going to be an awesome show. I'm not going to blow the surprise quite yet, but put it on the calendar. Wednesday, you don't want to miss the show. It's going to be awesome. I've got a great special guest, not somebody with Hatco. It's going to be somebody else giving us some great insight. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick off today's show. And today, it's going to be called Not Just Any Station. And you know, I received a ton of positive feedback through email, through phone calls, when I've done some of these episodes on kind of what I call what's the difference. You know, it's great to know the underlying factors and all the basic building blocks that make Hatco pieces of equipment. But when you look at the catalog and you see 10 different options, sometimes that can be a bit overbearing, and people will tend to take the path of least resistance, and they'll just pick the one that they're most familiar with when it may not be the right piece of equipment for the right application. So I thought, what the heck, let's take a look at our fry stations, because I know there's something that needs to be said up front. If you look in the catalog under our fry stations, there's definitely a couple of these that aren't just fry stations. They can be used for a number of other things. For example, the GRB, take a look at that. That is under fry stations, my friend, and I didn't even recognize it at first. I'm like, that's just a heated base. So it's under the GRB, and then you also have something like this here, which is a GRFF. You also have the GRFF, which is a glow ray French fry with lights. GRFF-B is with base heat. Now, remember when we talked about the importance of holding fried product, and we talked about all the guidelines and things that you can do to prolong and get longevity out of your fried food. And we talked about the ceramic heating elements, right? And does anybody remember the fancy term that I threw out there? Anybody know? It was emissivity. So what does the Webster's Dictionary say about emissivity? And it's actually the relative power or effectiveness of a surface to emit heat via radiation. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it just means there's certain materials that give off certain radiation in the form of heat that is absorbed by the food that's sitting below it. So if you look on the screen right here, this is a GRFF, which we put under the fry stations, but that's a standard cal rod element above it. It's not the ceramic element. So this can actually work for a multitude of different things. But we also have the UG version, which is an ultra glow. So the ultra glow shows you that you can utilize the ceramic elements. Does anybody remember what the benefits of ceramic elements were? The fact that A, the food absorbs that better, fried product. You have more distance, so you can put a fry basket in there. So you have a couple of big advantages by going with the ultra glow. So as I go back, you can see here, this is a standard glow ray with a heated base. Will work for fried product, but also does a great job with other products. So although it's under the fry station catalog section, remember it can do a multitude of things. Now this one here is something else I want to point out. When you don't have base heat, it allows for you to put a hotel pan inside the bottom of it. But notice that there is a shroud that goes around the outside. To hide a hotel pan that, as we all know, isn't the most beautiful thing if it's not directly out of the package. And number two, you create kind of an air insulated barrier on the inside there, so it will help you with holding product that's inside of the unit. So that's why we offer that. As we move into the ultra glow, you can see here's an ultra glow with base heat. So these ones here are going to give you a great opportunity. But when I look at this, what customer am I looking at? I'm looking at a customer that either wants a portable option, something that they're going to be moving on a regular basis, something that they may not need all the time that they can pull out and use when needed, and also somebody that's doing a multitude of different products, not just fried food. And it's also a less expensive option. As we move forward into what we actually consider a GRFHS, or a glow ray fry holding station, here, which we already talked about, you have your overhead ceramic elements with a thermostatically controlled base. Now we also take this one step further and we put a trivet in the bottom. Remember, we already talked about that. So with these GRFHSs, they come in 16, 21, 26. So there's a bunch of, and 22, there's a bunch of different sizes for them so that you can size it properly for your customer. So then people are going to say, well, Ryan, what's the difference between a GRFHS and an MPWS, so the multi-product warming station? So we utilize a lot of the same technology, right? It's on a larger scale. And if you notice on the top here, 2 separate dials. Well, what's that for? Well, you can actually control the heat and temperature on the front of the unit as well as on the back of the unit. Well, the next obvious question is, well, why the heck would I want to do that? Well, this picture actually demonstrates it. You can get a ton of different accessories for this unit, from fry ribbons, box holding, risers. So take a look here. If you notice in the back, there is a portion of these, especially if they're on a riser, that might be higher up. And then you would want to turn the temperature in the back down. And the next question would be, well, why do you put them on risers? Well, when you're working with a piece of equipment that is this large, sometimes reaching in the back and having it flat is an issue. And it's much easier as it's at an angle to be able to see what's inside the unit and also scoop and reach into the unit. So this unit gives you the ability to change the temperatures. So this is the Cadillac. This is the top of the line. If I'm looking for somebody that's doing a full-on fry holding or a fried product holding station, and I want every single bell and whistle there is, this is the unit for them. Here's another picture. Now this is set up virtually the exact same as a GRFHS. We don't have any risers in there. There's no fry ribbons. That's the trivet on the bottom with dividers. That will act the same as the GRFHS. So here's another example where you have 2 separate areas for fried product with the trivet built in the pan. And then you also have some risers here if you want to have some other products. So you have a different, use for this item. So when you're looking at the fry holding stations, remember some of the GRFFs, the GRFFBs, those will have a regular cal rod element. They can be used for a multitude of different things. They may not just be for fried food. And it also gives you a portable option plus a less expensive option. As you move into the GRFHS, somebody that's a little bit more serious about fried food holding. And then if you want somebody that has a multitude of different products and really wants to get the most out of their dollar, the multi-product warming station is going to be the item for them. So hopefully that helped clear some of the stuff up for you guys. And with that, that's going to wrap up today's talk. Feel free to put some questions in there. I will come back to them if need be. But let's get to the whole reason everybody actually joins the show, and that's going to be the memes for today. Charlene Brenna sent this one in, and it says, long before The Simpsons, the Jetsons more accurately predicted the future. And it shows the home office, your online aerobics classes, telemedicine, and video calls. So they were right. The next 2 came in from Lou Annick. And the first one, can I call you back in 3 hours? I'm cleaning my groceries. And this one might be my favorite. COVID testing in the rear. Yikes, I thought it was a nasal swab. Alrighty, let's stop sharing here. Let's get back. It looked like 2 chats popped up. Nick, Ryan, do you see this is an option for holding bag carry-out orders? That's a great question. Anytime you're talking about an overhead heat source with a heated base, you are going to be able to get a longer hold time out of whatever you're putting in it. So yes, you technically could. However, I think there are less expensive options than a multi-product warming station. For example, like a GRFFB will give you the ability to hold about 3 to-go orders without having to get into, the expense of a multi-product warming station. Could the multi-product warming station handle it? By all means, yes, it could. So yeah, definitely for to-goes. Howard, have you been shopping mustache wax yet? No. So I just asked, before we started recording, I asked Nick. Richard has like the perfect beard, and I don't want his head to get any bigger. He's gonna have a hard time getting through doors. But if you looked up beard in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure his picture is there. So I said he needs to let me know some recommendations so I can start shaping and forming this so it looks less like Duck Dynasty and more like, you know, sophistication. So hopefully he can help me out. There's Richard. See, he's going to get me the info. All righty, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you again for joining me on a Monday. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you're catching on YouTube, you can always join us live, 3 p.m. Monday through Friday Central Time. The link is in the description below. If you are subscribed to Hatco, use the bell notification. That'll let you know every single time one of our videos goes live. And let us know you're enjoying the content by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And don't forget Wednesday, big episode. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.